Open Heaven's Daily Devotional. Date, Saturday, 20 June, 2026. Topic, Obey Him. Memory verse. And Samuel said, Hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices, as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. 1 Samuel 15:22. Bible reading. Genesis 22, 1 through 3. Matthew 2, 13 through 14. Genesis 22, 1 through 3. 1. And it came to pass after these things, that God did tempt Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am.
And he said, Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went unto the place of which God had told him.
Matthew 2, 13 and 14. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeareth to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night, and departed into Egypt.
The Message. Sometimes God gives instructions that appear to be very difficult to obey, and because of that, some Christians delay obeying them for long periods. There is, however, little difference, if any, between delaying obedience to God's instructions and outright disobedience. When God asked Abraham to offer Isaac to him as a sacrifice in Genesis 22, 1 through 3, I imagine that he did not discuss the matter with his wife. He probably thought that discussing God's instruction with Sarah would cause delays, and he wouldn't be able to carry it out. Even though God instructed him to do something difficult, he must have decided to obey promptly and not ponder over it.
As a result of his obedience, God swore by himself to bless him and his seed forever. Hebrews 6, 13 to 14. In the same vein, Joseph didn't linger when an angel told him in a dream to flee to Egypt with Jesus and his mother. Matthew 2:13. If he had lingered, Herod's soldiers could have caught up with them. Prompt obedience always leads to preservation and attracts God's blessings. When God gives you an instruction, he wants you to obey it promptly. Don't query him, just obey the instruction. In addition to promptly obeying his instructions, God also wants you to obey him willingly. In Isaiah 1:12, he said, If ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. Lastly, God expects you to obey him completely. Some Christians believe they can selectively choose which of God's instructions to obey and which to disregard. However, when it comes to following God, there is no such thing as partial obedience. You either go all the way with him or do not go at all. Saul made this mistake when God instructed him to utterly destroy the Amalekites. 1 Samuel 15, verses 1 to 3. Instead of obeying God's express command to destroy everyone and everything they owned, he spared the king and the best sheep, oxen, and lambs. Saul's partial obedience displeased God
and led to his rejection. 1 Samuel 15, verse 26. This is because partial obedience equals disobedience in God's sight. God will never be pleased with less than total obedience.
Prompt and wholehearted obedience is always worth more than sacrifices made to him. 1 Samuel 15, 22-23. Beloved, has God given you instructions concerning any matter? Ask him for the grace to obey them promptly, willingly, and completely. I pray that the Lord will turn every stony, disobedient heart to a heart of obedience, in Jesus' name. Prayer point. Father, please help me to always obey your instructions willingly, promptly, and wholeheartedly. Bible in 1 year. Psalms 81-88.
The Open Heavens Devotional is written by Pastor E.A. Adeboye, the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. If you were blessed by this message, kindly subscribe, like, share, and follow so you don't miss out on tomorrow's message. God bless you.